Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some good topics to get into and some stuff to look forward to for this week's game. So let's jump straight into the video. Starting off, we are talking about players' stocks. There was a story recently done NFL online, and they talked about players on the Lions, their stock rising and dropping, and kind of why. I'm going to go into it a little bit. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it. We're going to see where their stock really should be, right? So let's start off with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's stock is going up. Detroit's defense did do a good job holding Cleveland to a 26.2% offensive success rate, fourth best by any defense in the game this season, and the Lions' best single game mark since 2013 when Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz was Detroit's head coach. No player was more central to showing that than the green dot linebacker himself, Jack Campbell. He did a really good job. He was involved in coverage. He was involved in run stopping, which he had a great run stop for a loss. And he was really just supposed to be disruptive in that midfield game. He did a great job. He's coming off a huge game against the Ravens, especially. I love to see what Jack Campbell's doing, and I would absolutely agree that his stock is currently going up. He has just been doing great stuff for our team, and he's going to continue to. A lot of the talent ceiling, and excited to see what he'll do. JMO, stock down. Yeah, this one I can definitely see. He's had a couple of just iffy weeks, right? Back-to-back weeks like that, you start to get a little worried, right? After converting on first down in Detroit's opening drive, Williams was nowhere. He endured a rough stretch, failing to connect with Jared Goff on 6 straight targets, including an interception and several drops, right? We saw some of these drops. There was one for a touchdown. He really just was kind of giving up huge plays. It is what it is, right? The Lions could have put the game out of reach earlier if Williams had capitalized on a few of those catches, obviously, right? But, once in a while, those chances don't come as easy. He also wasn't as impactful as a run blocker as he normally is. So that's something else to look at. As one of the NFL's 15 highest paid receivers and a key offensive pillar to our franchise, not only in receiving, but that blocking for the run game, which makes our run game so dangerous, right? Williams needs to be leaving these outings behind. They need to change now. Though there's every reason to believe he'll rebound and produce a few big games now that heading into the bye week. You can never be too sure, and we're just gonna have to make sure Jameson Williams is still doing what we're paying him to be here for now, right? You got your contract. Don't just be that guy who gets your money and disappears. I think he'll be back. I think he'll have a better game. The few drops was a little concerning because that was always the thing with JMO, right? He's got the dropsies, but hopefully we don't see as much as that anymore against tougher opponents when we're going to really, really need to see him go. Stock up, Aiden Hutchinson. I agree. The stat line says it all, right? 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 7 total pressures with a 25% pressure rate. Oh my gosh. And a forced fumble. It's the highest single game pressure since week 4 last season against Seattle when he was at his peak. He's just been going crazy. I mean, if you're having a 25% pressure rate, one out of every 4 pressures, he's going to be in your face and you got to make a decision. That is an insane stat line. And if he continues to do that, he's going to be an absolutely unstoppable force in that backfield against quarterbacks who aren't that, mobile. And even against the quarterbacks that are mobile, we saw what he did to, Lamar Jackson. So I totally agree with this one as well. Stock down, David Montgomery. Yeah, this is another one I agree with, right? Not really to his fault, though. We'll get into that. The running lanes were scarce against the Browns. Coming off of a career high 151 rushing yards in week 3, he was really just bottled up this game for 9 carries, 12 yards, 1.3 per attempt, along of 4, and one of the lowest rushing success rates of week 4 at 11.1%. And I think what really did it for him in this one is that his playing style is just totally countered by the Cleveland Browns. Their defensive line is so good at stopping those muscle backs. They're strong guys. They're big, strong guys who are really fast and can get their hands on you very quickly. I think, honestly, that's just what happened. Plus, trying to replicate a game like that back to back, especially against a defense like Cleveland's, really, really unlikely, really hard to do. I think we'll see a lot more of him this season, and I think we're going to see great things like he did against the Ravens. We're just going to have to wait. But for the time being, sure, stock down for David Montgomery. And finally, stock up. We'll leave it on a high note for you guys. Stock up Penei Sewell. I think this one needs no explanation, but I'll do it anyways. Was one of the only ones on the line consistently generating rush lanes for Gibbs against the Browns. So that just tells you right away we were getting stuff going with Penei Sewell. He was also a great lead blocker on St. Brown's screen touchdown, giving him just enough room by that block he created to get into the end zone, which ultimately sealed the game away. And he just continues to be an unmovable tackle. Such a good guy on the team. You never hear his name get called for penalties. You never hear his name get called for a guy who gets sacked, right? He's just one of those guys I can rest easy at night knowing he is protecting my guy, Jared Goff. Don't think that one needs any more explanation. Let me know what you guys think about this list. Is there anyone you put on here in specific? Anyone else? Do you agree with the stock going up and down? I don't necessarily think for guys like JMO it's like going to be a permanent thing, but just for the time being, as the week stands, that is where he's at. Let me know what you guys think. That's going to take us into our second topic, talking about some injuries that happened on Cleveland's game. A lot of people were scared about the starting corners both going down, and I have some updated news for you guys here right now. Dan Campbell did offer a mixed bag of injury updates, but there were more good news than bad, thankfully. Campbell announced that quarterback DJ Reed, who was carted off with a hamstring injury early in the fourth quarter Sunday, won't miss the remainder of the season. Thank God we avoided one, guys. Let's stay away from him now. The Lions will be without Reed, though, for the immediate future. It remains up in the air as whether he'll sit out, go on injury reserved, or whether he will just ensure that he misses at least the next 4 games, right? If he does go on injury reserved. We're not sure what's going to happen yet. We're going to have to wait till the end of the week to get a sure answer, and I'm sure we will get one. Dan Campbell said, quote, "It was close, I think. It could be in the range of about getting to the injury reserve list." Campbell was also more encouraged, though, to talk about Terrion Arnold, who did leave the Sunday's game as well with a shoulder concern. Another one of our starting guys, another one of our younger guys who I need to blossom, and I need him to not be injured if he's going to be able to do that. He, at worst, the second-year cornerback is expected to only miss the next weekend matchup against the Bengals, which could obviously be bad when we got to worry about T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. But overall, I think him missing just one game is going to be good. We'll have him back after that. And especially with where the Bengals offense stands right now, it's not too bad of a game to miss. So we'll just have to see what is going on with him. But thankfully, he is better. Dan Campbell said, "I don't think it's a huge thing, but the question is he going to be ready this week? If it's not this week, he should be ready for next week." That potentially leaves the Lions short-handed at cornerback, though, for the next matchup. Campbell said, if nothing else, he expects the team to add a piece to the practice from the practice squad this week. So we'll have some guys step up. That's been the mentality for the last few years. Next man up, and we're just gonna have to see what our guy can do. You got to have faith, and you got to go into the game thinking that he's going to be the man this game. And then the last injury I wanted to talk about was Zach Cunningham, who kind of came out of nowhere, popped up on the injury list. He had a great goal line tackle against Derrick Henry in week 3, which ultimately led to us standing on 4th down. He's currently out with an undisclosed injury, but need to have him back, man. He's one of the fellas. He's not one of our starters, obviously, picked him up in the offseason. But if he's going to make a huge, big-time tackle on Derrick Henry like that, he shows that he does have that next guy mentality that we do need on this team for the position he's in. And I absolutely need a guy like that to be ready to go in case one of our starters get hurt. Zach Cunningham, you're a dog. I hope you get better soon, man. And then thirdly, the game against Cincy. How's it going to be, right? We just talked about some of the things that are going to happen with our corners being out, but what's the game overall going to look like? Well, as I am doing this video right now, and let me check the score, the Bengals are currently losing 3-21 against the Broncos in the third. With that being said, I think the offense is far from where it needs to be, and I think that's no surprise to anyone. It is really crazy when you think about it now that offense, despite all the weapons they have around them, it ran through Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is that offense. They built that offense around him. So him being out, you can see what kind of disruptions it's causing. And with him being out, it's an uphill battle for the Bengals. Chase and Higgins are great, borderline, all time, right? With especially Chase. But Higgins is great too. I just don't think Browning has shown enough yet to where he's like, I can consistently get the ball to my playmakers' hands. And just because of that, I don't have any faith in him to make enough strong drives against our defense to do any real damage, right? Their defense on the other side of the ball doesn't really do anything special. We saw that last year for sure. Hendrickson is definitely great, and he's going to be a force that we got to worry about. We're going to have to plan for him. But their secondary is seriously lacking, and I think that because of that, especially with the kind of game we have, the play action pass game, it could lead to a snowball effect. It could get out of hand really, really quickly if Jared Goff gets locked in right. Ultimately, I think our offense just runs the ball down the field, though. We run it down their throats, smash mouth football, and then when they're respecting the run enough, we go over the top, man. That's been our game plan since like 2022, too. So I think we just keep to it, right? Despite the injuries in our secondaries, and linebackers, or despite the injuries, I think our secondary is going to be fine. I think the next guys up are going to be good. Meek Robertson, Dog, hopefully Terry On's back. If he's not, though, we have some guys who will be able to step up. The big thing's going to have to be our safeties kind of picking up a little more of that load, and our pass rushers are going to have to be on. We can't give Chase Browning time. Like, it's like you give any cornerback time with a guy like Jamar Chase, he's going to be open at some point. We need to have the pass rush on point, and I think we will be able to do that. Their O line's cool; they're fine, but for the most part, I think Aiden Hutchinson, if he's not getting double teamed every play, should get a few sacks against this team. I think our defensive tackles should be getting in the backfield more times than not. And if we continue to do that and we don't give them any time to even look in Chase's direction, I have nothing to worry about. That's just what I think for that. I think our pressure on Browning is going to make it a nightmare for him in the backfield. And hopefully, if that happens, we'll be just fine, guys. Let me know what you guys think, though. What is this game against the Bengals going to look like? And since it's their game plan has kind of changed a little bit, who are the main pieces we have to worry about? Obviously, Chase Brown, but we have a good running defense. What are the other pieces we're going to have to look for? Let me know in the comments right now. Pause the video. Pause. Before the last topic. Pause. Let me know in the comments right now what you are expecting to have to worry for against this Browns team, or Browns Bengals team. And finally, viewer comments, of course. Starting with Brent DeWitt. Brent DeWitt said, "You need a Detroit Army hat on the shelves like MCDC wears most of his interviews." You know what? I would dig it, actually. I could get a couple Lions hats back here. I would be a big fan of that. Or maybe even on this side with the football, right? Definitely going to get some hats. Definitely want to get a jersey at some point to hang like behind everything. Um, what else do I want to do? I want to get some more bobbleheads, obviously. I want to get a helmet. Yeah, we'll cook. We'll get some good stuff going back here. But I definitely like that recommendation, Brent, to it. I'll keep that one on the list that I keep of all the things I need. Thank you so much for your comment. And next we have Yurvish Shah. Yurvish Shah, yeah, 6327 says, O-line didn't play the best in the first half either, but that doesn't stand out. When you are on an island like TA and the receiver grabs your face mask and it's not called, but you are called for it, it looks glaring. TA shut down the receivers in the second half, leading to 6 coverage sacks. Amik needs more snaps. He is a good DB, getting less snaps in the base defense. Remember Brian Branch playing less than 50% snaps in the NFC Championship against the 49ers? Yeah, I got you there. That is what Dan Campbell was saying. Change some defensive snaps and increase Amik, but it's not necessarily about decreasing snaps for Terrion Arnold. TA is a dog, played highest snaps in the NFL on man-to-man coverage last year and did a superb job in last 12 games when he was not being picked up on by the refs. I like this comment. You know, when I first read it, I was thinking, no, dude, no, he made me too mad. He pissed me off too much on Sunday. But this is a good comment. It brings up some good points. He's got some good stats. And I think what you say about, yes, Amik Robertson does need more defensive snaps. 100% he does, because he's too good to just be sitting on our bench for only, 21% of snaps. I think he absolutely needs an increase, and I will stand on that. But I like what you say about not just because he's going to get increased, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to, start sitting our developing second year man. I get that. I like that point. And you're also right that those sacks probably wouldn't happen if the man coverage wasn't great downfield. Like he couldn't find Zay Flash, couldn't find D Hop, right? That brings up a great point, and I do like what you're saying there. I will definitely consider that a lot more. And listen, guys, I don't hate Terrion Arnold. He has these games where I'm just like, dude, come on, bro. You're a first round pick. I need you to do a little more. I need you to give me some more value out of this pick. But that's fine. He's developing. I'll give him time. I'm not hating. I promise, guys. But I do like this comment, and you bring up a good point with all the stats, and also I like what you said about the coverage stuff. Thank you so much for your comment. Continue to comment like that. I really liked reading that one. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, tell me right now what are your biggest concerns for the game against the Bengals, if you have any at all. And do you agree with the stock that I talked about earlier in the video with players? Who, if I didn't talk about them, would you put on there and has their stock on up or down? Tell me right now in the comments. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell so you never miss a single video here. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video.